there? Are you here? This is a tune from This is a tune from an old TV show that I really love. I love to hear it. And I thought I used it at the beginning of my show. I saw my niece there a while ago. Kelly was online. I hope she didn't leave. I had to set up YouTube, and that took a little longer. My internet was being stubborn. But I want to welcome all of you here today. Let me turn this little guy down a bit. There seems to be a little bit of a noise in the background. Ow. Can you hear me? Oh, I see what that is. There we go. I forgot to unplug the charger from the V8 box. I just realized what that is the other day when my brother kept telling me to check it. I said, my V8, the one in my truck. I do have the echo up a little bit. Let me turn it down. Once again, I want to welcome each and everybody that's here. I can only say it's a wonderful day for most of us and a very sad day for a few of us. I still have my daughter in the hospital. She's still fighting a collapsed lung, and they're doing everything they can to get rid of what's ailing her. They're having a hard time. So I can only ask that you continue with your prayers. I know that Jesus Christ says you only need to ask one time, and his will be done if you have faith. Lord knows I have faith. But I still need extra faith. But on the other hand, it could always be worse. And I'd like to take a moment at the beginning of my show today. My extended family, the Farr family that I grew up with, Sam Farr, Mickey Farr, Charlie Farr, and then their wives, Kathy, Joyce, and their sisters and brothers. They were all like my extended family. Growing up on the South Side, they knew me since I was 12, 11 years old, I guess. But I got some sad news yesterday morning and I hope they don't mind me mentioning it, that Joyce Wilkinson Farr was very ill, and they didn't know she would pull through it. Well, I got the call this morning. She wasn't able to pull through, and she's gone to be with the Father in heaven. But at the same time, her husband, I call him my brother, Mickey, got a phone call. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, that his sister passed away. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, Tootsie. I'm sure her husband, Butch, is taking it pretty hard. My condolence to all of you, Mickey, Sam, Nancy, and your families, for the loss of your sister, Tootsie, and to all the Wilkinsons and Farrs for the loss of their mother, their grandmother, their aunt, Joyce Farr. Many fond memories of her and the family. The barbecues, the times out at Hidden Valley, even before it was Hidden Valley. I told a story about that a couple of months ago, about Hidden Valley and the flood that Sam and I had to evacuate several people there. And we did it. They were the ones that introduced myself and a couple of other friends to that park, and it was a wonderful place. We spent a lot of summer days out there having a good time. I tell you what, swimming that Medina River, that muddy water, I never had a real sit problem. Talking about it getting a mud bath, that was it. But Father in heaven, I pray for the family, the Farr family, the Wilkerson family, and all the families and friends for the loss of Tootsie and the loss of Joyce. Father, help the family cope with the future and cope with the loss and the pain that they have now. But may they also rejoice that now Joyce and Tootsie have moved on into the kingdom of heaven. And there's only one way to get there, and you can't get there alive. They will be seated at the right hand and with Christ in heaven and the Father. Because our Father is a forgiving Father. No matter what we've done here, He will forgive you if you just have faith in Him. I'm not saying that they had problems. I'm just saying that everybody gets to go to heaven no matter what. The kingdom of heaven is there. I've seen it a few times. 6 times death has come for me, and I guess the Lord's not ready for me because He keeps telling me, take that shit out of here. Well, you bring, y'all like a dog. You bring that nasty thing up here. Send him back. So I'm still here today, and I thank the Lord for that. My prayers and blessings go out to all of you and anybody that lost someone in the last few days. May the Lord help you through this. And may you realize that you'll get to see Him again. May not be tomorrow or next week. On the 13th, which was just a few days ago, we celebrated the loss of, well, we didn't celebrate, but it was the anniversary of the loss of my younger sister, died in a car wreck, and I talked about that. You can't lose somebody and not feel it. But do rejoice that they moved on. They no longer have to cope with pain. I got a small noise. I hope it's not hitting you all. They managed to move on and go to the next level of life. God bless you all. Okay, and welcome each and every one of you. Those of you that are here and are coming, I applaud you. I thank you for being here. So it is a good day. Susan and I were talking last night. I didn't realize Christmas was just so close already. So really close. I hope that all of you can enjoy Christmas for what it is. This rushing around and buying the biggest gift you can find or the most expensive gift you can find and spinning your wallet in the plastic to no end. Stop and think what Christmas is really all about. I look back at growing up as a child. My grandmother had many grandkids to buy for in minimal income, savings mostly from the days she did work. But her gift would be a pair of socks, a roll of lifesavers. At the age of 10 or 12, I'd get a razor. When it first came out with the disposable razor, I looked at her and said, Grandma, what do I do with this? I didn't shave yet. Hey, I saved it, and then one day I could use it. So there you go. Bear with me. I'm resetting some information on Facebook. It asked me to reboot, so that's what I'm doing. Still here. Don't give up on me. All right. I got that set up on Facebook, and we'll get rolling with that. It was always sad to have the kind of day today. It was a little hard to get into the spirit of things, but we must move on, and life moves on, and we have to. Uh-oh, there it went. Things are not cooperating. Today we'll talk about an incident that happened. It was when I was about 15, I guess, 68, 69. I worked at a convenience store, the corner of Hutchins and Commercial there by the house where I grew up. And actually, I think I was 14 because I lied about my age to go to work there. And as big as I was, they didn't question me. They just needed somebody, and I was willing to work after school. But back then, you could burn unwanted cardboard or trash. We had incinerators, and they didn't have no dumpsters at that time. They had big trash cans that we'd throw any kind of metal, anything we couldn't burn, and the people that would clean out the incinerator would pick up that stuff. But anyway, one night I was out there throwing in the cardboard, getting it ready to light up, burn it, when it's like a voice yelled at me. And I turned, there was no one there. But then I heard it again as I was turning the cardboard boxes, the beer box stuff to throw inside the incinerator. And I stopped for a moment, and it was the gentleman that I usually work with at night. He was in the Air Force. He was stationed at Kelly or Lakeland, I forget one of those places. And in fact, most everybody that worked there at night were military, moonlighting. And his name was Gilbert. I remember that. Big, tall fella. I believe he was uh, training to be a pilot or something. And when I turned around, it's like I saw him standing there, and I said, well, actually, I pictured him standing there, and he's all bloody. I said, "What happened to you?" He just looked at me. I said, well, "What happened to you, Gilbert?" Then I heard something pop in the incinerator. I guess I threw a bottle in there or something. I turned. When I looked back, he wasn't there. So I went inside, pushed the basket in, the grocery basket I was using. And the gentleman that was working that night with me was Ram. They called him Ramito. He was from up north, but he was also stationed in one of the Kelly or Lakeland, one of those places. And I asked him, when does Gilbert work again? He said, I don't know. I don't care. Why would I need to know? I was just curious. Well, okay. He turns around and goes, looks. He said a couple other things. He said he'll be working tomorrow night and Friday night, Saturday night. Him and I are double. We'll be here together. We'll be running both registers. And you'll be working. Well, yeah, that's a given. I'm here every night. I never got a day off unless they asked for it because they figured I only worked a few hours after school, so I didn't need a day off. He said, why? Why is that so important? You don't like working with me or something to that effect? I said, no. Just cause. Well, the night was over. I went home. The next day I was coming home from school and I stopped off, I think paychecks or something, or I just stopped to get a drink. And the manager looked at me and said, you know what? He said, I had you scheduled tonight, but I also had two other people. I don't need two cashiers and a stocker. So why don't you take the evening off and the guys can handle it tonight. So wonderful, I get to go hang out with Sam and Ronnie or whatever, Mickey, and so forth. So I go home, and the night, I don't know what I wound up doing, but I know that somebody sent me a message there. They emailed me a question. Awesome. I guess it was nearly 12:30 at night, and brother had started working. My older brother had started working at the store at the other end of commercial. Hutchins and Pleasanton, which was just a few blocks down the road. He had to work that night. Some mother picked him up. Now over there, they wouldn't let him work after 10. We were in school. Me, I'd work to midnight every night. I don't know why, but his manager wouldn't let him work. So she had to pick him up between 10 and 11. And they come home and they're making, everybody's upset. Oh, screaming, yelling. I got up and I ran into the kitchen. I said, well, what the hell? What's going on? What happened? What's the problem? They robbed Gilbert. They robbed Gilbert at the store, at your store. We stopped in there to get a couple of sodas, and Mom needed some bread and stuff, so we just stopped there. And when I went in, Mom stayed in the car. This is my older brother speaking. I went in and I didn't see anybody. So I started looking around. I went to the back, and they got Ram locked in the cooler. They put a pin in the door where he couldn't open it. And he looked behind the counter, and Gilbert was back there, and they pistol whipped him bad, almost to death. They took him to the hospital. He never came back to work with us, but they almost killed him. Pistol whipped him and took the money. That was just a few days after I'd had that premonition, that vision, or daydream, night dream, whatever you want to call it. I'll ask you as always, how does a psychic see this stuff? Where does that energy come from? I've had people tell me again that maybe you're just a seer. I forget the word they use. I can never think of it. Sure enough, when I get through the show, I'll think of it. But should I have told Gilbert, don't come to work? He probably would have laughed at me with little snot, well, not little, but high school kid going to tell me not to come to work. He saw something. The guy flew jets, or at least trained flight jets. I don't think that he was going to be worried about that. But to catch these two guys, Ramito, if I remember correctly, even though he was short, they were built. They were in the military. They weren't no wimps. But they caught Ramito in the walk-in cooler. The only thing that I always thought about, if I ever got locked in there, I'd knock the eggs or something out of the way and crawl out one of them cooler doors. I mean, I wouldn't just sit in there, but or maybe they told him if he come out, they'd shoot him. I don't know. They did get the money, and they did almost kill Gilbert. I think his last name was Rodriguez. Not sure. He was actually from the valley, stationed up here. But that's one deal of many things that have happened. You don't know where it comes from. You don't know what to tell people when that comes. Sometimes when you see these things, you think, wow, if I tell somebody, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I'm nuts. But then, what's the old saying? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You share what you hear and you see, and they think you're crazy. You don't share what you hear or see. Someone trying to tell you, you were supposed to share it and you didn't. Well, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I was looking for something else to talk about, another story, and the first thing I come up to was the one I just told you. This is a part of my book that I'm writing, The Unknown at 10. And it may have been I may have been a little younger when I started realizing what I could do. The Okay, here you go. Got one. This one happened around 1962, 63. My dad had just got back from Korea. We were living midtown off Brighton Street. It's where that field was across the street that I spoke about last month or the month before. Anyway, my dad took a job with a company called J.B. Martin Construction. And they landed a contract redoing the runways at Chase Field there in Beeville, Corpus Christi. No, the naval base at Corpus Christi. And so he was elected to drive down to Corpus the month before. I want to say it was like May. And he needed to secure motel, motor inn for 4 families that we were going to be one of them, but we would be there throughout the summer and probably early fall or at least till the job was done in Corpus. So they were sending 4 crews up there, or 4 men with their families, and which was great, that they would do that. So we took off. It was a Saturday morning, and we headed out to Corpus Christi. Never been to Corpus Christi in my life. That was the first trip out there. We'd heard of it. My cousins would go fishing and stuff like that, see pictures of it, but had never been there. When we get out there and we go over this bridge that would take us into one of the islands. It was pretty big. Turns out my dad was not where he wanted to be, and mother was not letting in. I tell you, look at the map, get directions, da da da. Typical what we do now. But anyway, he finally got turned around. What they wanted to do is the owner of the company gave him some names and places to go check and secure, and gave him the checks. Well, we wound up going just to the entrance of Padre Island. And back then they had these swing bridges, or they had the one that would come up like this and then come back down. But before you could go on the island, you had to go through the tow booth. They had tow booths. So you paid to go off and go onto the island. But just before we got to the tow booth, my dad and mom were looking at the paperwork that his boss gave him. And I heard him saying that, well, there's a place there. That's one of the places. And he went by it. Then he says, the other place just down the road. And he said, but let's go out, take the kids to the beach. And I turned around, I stood up and I reached over the seat and I said, Dad, a wise man once told me, business first, pleasure last. They sent you out here to do something. Let's do that. That way we have more time to be at the beach. He turned around and says, if you weren't right, I'd probably backhand you. Or something to that effect. Mom got mad at him. He thought I was being a jackass, really. But I just meant if we go now and hang out, then we're going to be rushing for him to do what he's supposed to do. Hey, come and stay here for a few months by the beach. Sound like a good deal. So we went ahead and went to these 3 different motels. And one of them I really liked because it was fairly new, and they had a hamburger stand right at the entrance of the park. The motel. But we didn't stay there. We went down to the next one. There was something about it. My dad wasn't happy with it. Oh, they didn't have any kind of a playground for kids, and they were limited on the amount of time you could stay. They didn't know extended. You couldn't rent it for a month or 2 months. So we went to the next one. Now, one thing I want to say it was Gulf Coast Motel. I remember the little cinder block huts, but there were 2 bedroom, and which was big enough for our clan at the time. Shower. We didn't have a shower at home, but they had a shower there and a shower out on the side of the hotel. The building, and they had a nice playground. I say nice. I think if I remember correctly, it had a gigantic swing. I think it had like 6 swings on it. Monkey bars. I can never figure out why they always put monkey bars. I guess we were supposed to be monkeys. And then a couple of slides. So, remember, Dad went into the office, and he was in there for a while, and we were out playing on. Mother told us to go out there and play. What the hell? He comes walking down and says, y'all come on. We're going to go look at our room. Or one of the rooms, anyway. And Kept telling my mom, this is the room I want. She said, why? You'll see why. We went in, he goes to what would be their bedroom, and he opens the curtain. He said, look out there. What do you see? Water. Mom wasn't too enthused. I just see the water. It's right there. Well, yeah, it's on the other side of the road. It's not right there. But she didn't like that. But he liked it, so they were planning on getting that one. In fact, he told the guy when the keys come out, that's the one I want. Hey, I come out here, put it together. Let me have that one. So he got that one, which put us right across from the they had a little store there on the premises, snack bar. And then they had the playground, and we were right there. Dad got the one that put it right there, and I guess it was a couple of weeks later or a month later that we went up, and Dad got that room and everything. But I got ahead of myself. The day that he secured these motel rooms for us, we decided to go on out to Padre. And when I got to see the swing bridge and the drawbridge, and then we finally got out. I think Bob Hall Pier out there is where we went. Just past it, and at that time, there's Bob Hall Pier, and then you get to another pier, and then you get to another pier. It was all open beach. It was beautiful. There were no hotels. There were no restaurants. There were no crap cluttering the beach. I don't know what it looks like now, but I guarantee it's not what it was then. It was beautiful. It was fairly clean, except for the stuff that would wash up, palm trees, weird stuff. But mom and dad had stopped and bought stuff to barbecue. I think they got some chicken and hot dogs or something and charcoal. Dad was thinking we'd just dig a hole in the sand, and he had a grill, put the wood and the charcoal down in the pit, and then put the grill on top. Sound good to me. I'd never been to the beach. I didn't realize the wind's blowing constantly, and every time somebody walks by, the sand blows up. So we get out there, and we were in the 57 Buick. We called it the Bomb. That became my car later in the years. We were in that. No, it was the Ram. It was the Ram. But anyway, they're looking for a place to park. Mom said, well, look, right there, that big log that washed up. That would knock the wind off of us. We could build a fire right there and, give us some cover. And the little ones can stay on this side. I looked over, the one there with that man standing. Mom said, there's no man there. I saw a man standing there, a little skinny man. Somebody's there already, Mom. Bobby Joe. I got Bobby Joe when I was in trouble. There is nobody there. Told my dad to stop, and she runs. Mom was, I think she weighed 95 pounds, if that, back then. And she runs over there, and he hollers at my dad, come on, back the wagon up over here. There ain't nobody here. Got out, and I looked at Mom, I saw somebody standing here. Body. Well, Dad had my brother and I get boxes out with the food, and the wonderful thing, we had 2 6-packs of Dr. Pepper. Oh boy, those bitty ones. It was going to be a hell of a good time. So he grabs my younger sisters and my younger brother, Tom and Junior. Said, well, all right, let's go play in the water. And I said, wait a minute, how about the fire? Well, Bobby's going to stay here and help you. Aren't you, Bobby? I guess so. I stay here, Mom. So he said, dig a hole big enough to lay the grill on. There's no rocks, but dig it down deep, and then we build the fire down in there and set the grill on top of it, and we'll cook right there. But I noticed every time a car would drive by, like sand would blow across. I looked at Mom after my dad and the little ones where they were playing in the water. Sister Janie, Norm, I think it was, Brother Michael, the younger ones at that time, Annie Mae, and they were out. They went out to the water already. Brother Junior and Tommy were playing. I said, well, Mom, every time somebody drives by, don't worry about it. Wait, your dad wants to do it that way. Just do what he told you. Well, I dug the hole, sand, dumped the charcoal. He brought a couple of logs. I threw them. I called him mosquito or something. I chunked them in there and I deuced them down real good with the charcoal starter. Let it sit, and then I threw the match and whoosh, and went out. Well, you lit it too soon. No, I didn't. I let it set, like you said. I deuced it down real good. Dad coming on the way, let it set for a okay. So I gave it about 4 minutes. I lit the match, threw it in there, and oh yeah, it's going good. And then, damn, I did that about 3 times. It just wouldn't start. Mom said, "Let me have that." The hell is that smell? Walk around and see what you see. It smells like something dead. Well, maybe somebody dumped some fish or something on the other side of the log. So I went and looked. I saw that man standing. I said, "Hi." He looked at me and just walked on by. Okay. He was probably in his 30s, late 20s, early 30s. And, I said, "Mom, did you see that? There's that man I told you that was here." Or something like that. I tried to get her attention, let her know that was the guy I'd seen standing there. She said, "I ain't nobody. What's wrong with you? This damn fire ain't going to start. You know what? I'm going to get something started up here and then I'll push it down in there and get the other stuff started." So she kept lighting it and then she'd put the charcoal, let it set. Couldn't get it go. She'd light the match, it'd go out. And we were behind that big ass log. That log had to be about 4 foot around. I don't know where it came from. It wasn't from around there, but I'm sure it washed in during one of the storms, hurricanes, or high tide or something. And she tried and tried, couldn't get the fire going. My dad came running away. Well, what's the problem? We can't get the fire going. Oh, y'all get out here. He's messing with it. Couldn't get it going. Finally gave up. He said, "Well, we just saved the chicken before we get home. We can eat the weenies. I mean, they're basically they're cooked, whole. Why don't you just roll them up in that foil, throw them on top of the engine? The engine's hot. Let them warm up on the engine, and then we'll eat and then go ahead and head home. Let the kids play in the water for a little while they warm up a little bit." So that's what we did. We warmed them up the old way, like we used to do when we pick cotton. Threw them on top of the engine, let them sit there, and we all went and played in the water. After about 45 minutes, Dad went back to the car, opened the hood, pulled them out, the foil, laid them up, and they were warm. I mean, they weren't toasted, but they were warm. So we had hot dogs and good little Dr. Pepper and potato chips, and I think Mom opened up some pork and beans. And she warmed them up on the engine, let them sit on the engine. And when she opened them, they were warm, so we had pork and beans and all. But we kept smelling that smell. Ungodly, nasty smell. Dad said, we actually moved from there. When we started to eat that, we got to move from here. It just smells too bad. And We had moved closer to the water, and we sat there. He backed the wagon facing the water, and we're sitting on the tailgate on the ground, and we're eating hot dogs and what have you. Then after a while, Dad said, "Okay, pack it up, let's go." We got home about an hour and a half or less. Got back to the house, unloaded the car and everything. Everybody got cleaned up. Mom cooked that chicken, and I think she made mashed potatoes or something to go with it. We all ate, and I kept thinking about that man I kept seeing out there. And brother went back, older brother, August, he went back to the living room, turned the TV set on, and he started yelling for everybody to come in there. Yeah, everybody come here. Y'all come here. Everybody come here. Dad, Mom, come on. He was watching 12-star final news, which was Channel 12's news at that time. He said, "Look at that. That's Corpus. That's Padre Island. That's the tree where we were trying to start the fire. You could even see the hole that we had dug to start the fire." Another family out there was trying to use that hole we made to barbecue. But when they couldn't do it, they started digging up against the log. And they got down, I don't know how deep they got down when they found a hand came out. Scared the shit out of the husband and wife and the kids. Apparently, this person had been murdered, and they buried him under that. They dug under that stump and shoved him up under there and covered him, thinking nobody would ever find him. He was a young man, his late 20s, early 30s. Been dead for about a week. The man that I had been seeing was laying there, dead. You don't know. Psychic, not. Medium, clairvoyant. You don't know. There's ungodly things out there that happen. You can only go with the flow, go with what's going on at the time. I look at these psychic books and I read the Bible, probably not as often as I should, but I read stories, and then I read and listen to other people talk. Sometimes you wonder which one of them are real, which ones are making up stuff. Brother August is long gone. He died 5 years ago. He could have verified what happened. My mother could have verified it, confirmed it. Brother Tom, Sister Norma, Janie, they were too little. In fact, I don't even think they were around yet. I think it was Michael and Annie Mae that were the little ones. And he was little, probably 3. Probably wouldn't remember. But it was ugly. But I tell you what, I think back, and I have a picture here somewhere, where we camped out years later as teenagers, the whole group of us. We camped out by the Padre Island. We fished off, Bob Hall Pier on Padre Island. We fished off Bob Hall Pier that night, but we were camping on the beach just down from it. We had a hell of a time. Parents let us use what we called the bomb. My friends, Sammy, Ronnie, Albert, Ray, Chris, they named that car the bomb. I didn't have a driver's license. My dad gave it to me, so Ronnie was the only one that had a driver's license, so he drove it out there. Of course, I jumped stories, but he had Coleman lanterns, so we stopped and got what they called white gas to burn the lanterns with. Dad told us, if you get that, maybe tie it up on the roof, on the luggage rack. Don't put it inside the vehicle with you. It'll give off some nasty film. Well, we stopped. We finally found something. I think it was a Bob Jones Bud Jones, Bob Jones truck stop there on Roosevelt. And they were brothers, but we took off. Forgot what my dad said. We threw it in the back of the wagon. And after a while, everybody's eyes was watering, starting to feel woozy. And Ronnie hollered, "Y'all did put that gas on the roof, right?" No. Brother August says, "We stuck it in the back of the car." He hits the brakes, told everybody to get out, and we're all just right. But we'd been breathing that like gas film. And, so we tied it up on the roof. It was a hell of a time. But the beach was the beach. Only thing out there were campers, people in wagons, cars, the hippies in their bands and what have you. It was a pretty good time. Wouldn't mind spending an hour with those guys one more time. But anyway, that's life. It comes, you're here now, you're gone in a minute. So when you're out there, remember when you're talking to a family member or a close friend, always end it with in a pleasant way. Because you don't know if that's the last time that you'll get to talk or see each other. Or if those will be the very last words you'll get to share. So if it's a family member, a close friend, I'm here to tell you, don't be ugly. There's nothing in this world that can be worked out, no matter how upset you can get. And let me tell you, when you've been married 37 years to one person, and I have friends that have been married, my friends Mickey and Kathy have been married, I think, close to 58 years or 56 years already. It's a long time. But you learn to cope with each other. You learn to deal with each other's behaviors, likes, dislikes. It's a give and take relationships. And that's the way your relationship with your family should be. You won't always agree on everything. Never will you always agree 100% on everything. That's what makes life interesting. But the ability to turn around and say, you know what? Perhaps you are right. Perhaps I'm wrong. Of course, come back later and, well, I was right and you were wrong. But no use boosting on it. Just say, hey, well, we'll know better next time, right? That's what I do. I don't like to be the guy that explodes. I've been there. I've been that guy. But all the time I stop and think, what did it prove? That I was an asshole? Did I win a prize for being the right guy? For being ugly? Of course, the old saying is sometimes it's better to lead with fear than to lead with a smile. Let people think you're angry all the time and they won't screw with you. It does work. I tried it. I just don't believe that's the way to go. Well, those of you out there, if you got something to share or have something you want to talk about, join in. More than welcome. Time is flying by. We have about 20 minutes to go. Uh, Either way, I was answering a question there. Today's birthday If you were born on December the 15th, Sagittarius, of course, is still the ruler of the month. Happy birthday. You are what they call a spiritual, you're spiritually transcendent. You believe in things, not necessarily, you don't necessarily worship things, but you believe that there's stuff out there. Spiritually, you're good with it. You're okay with it. You know that there is a higher being, there is something out there. You're also, and what I just said is going to come back to play, you'll see. You're also about the facts. You don't like the hearsay. You don't like the well, maybe it could be, or the theory thing, or conspiracy thing. You want the facts. Is that red or is it not red? Purple? That's red. Was that a Chevy or was that a Ford? You said a car, but which was it? A Ford, a Chevy? Was it a Bronco? Was it a truck? You know what? A truck can be anything. You want the facts. You're going to come, somebody's going to come up to you and discuss something. They need to have their facts together, or you don't want to hear it. You want nothing to do with it. That's who you are. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's who you are. Don't come to me with bullshit. Come with me. Come to me with the fact. And you're strong in your beliefs. Embrace it. Embrace your spiritual transcendence and embrace the factual person you are. You're all about the facts. Embrace it. That's who you are. Don't shy away from it. People will come to you sometimes. Well, you know, no, come on. Give me the facts. Spit it out. And you're strong in your beliefs. Now, things you should avoid is the mood swings. No. Control your mood swing. Avoid it if you can. It creates friction between you and your soulmate, your family, your kids, people at work. So control your mood swing. You know, if something's going on, get it worked out. Use your spiritual insights and smooth things out so you can be more pleasant. Avoid that mood swing. Remember when I said you like people to come with the facts? Don't come to me with the bullshit. Come to me with the facts. When they come to you with the bullshit, that's when your temper flares. You know, get it right. You're coming to tell me something. You have only half the story and it's not even all correct. And you blow up. Mood swings, temper, avoid that temperament. You'll find that your temper and your idea of the facts will cause more friction in the long run. So take a moment, listen for the fact, control that temper. You can be a really pleasant person. Today is your day. Happy birthday. Now, just so you know, You're joined on this day by playwright Maxwell Anderson, singer Dave Clark, woo, God bless him, actor Tim Conway, McHale's Navy, come on, several movies, but I remember more from McHale's Navy, and also from the night, the Saturday night. Well, what was her name? He was a guest artist on the show all the time. Carol Burnett. She was from San Antonio, by the way. Also, you're accompanied today by millionaire J. Paul Getty, big oil tycoon, and no telling what all he had his hands in. You got that kind of money, he probably had his hands in other things where they didn't belong. Actor Don Johnson, I don't remember him, but hopefully you do. Novelist Edna O'Brien. Ooh, it's Irish. And actress Helen Slater. Don't know who she is. Probably do. My wife Susan gets mad at me. Go, who's that lady? I remember seeing her in another movie. But you know. Remember. I do remember Sam Elliott. We were in the movie together. Met him. Very pleasant guy. I remember Meg Ryan. Never thought I'd meet her. Always had a thing for her in my mind anyway. I see her in these different movies. But I never realized how tiny she was till I met her in person. I shook her hand and she shook mine. It about disappeared in my hand, and I don't have that big a hand, but she has tiny hands. So there you go. People, Sagittarius is born on December the 15th. When it comes to career and finances, you're usually attracted to the things that are going to allow you to be successful, to make money. You like living in a lifestyle that's more like semi-public. You like being in like around the retail industry. Sales is a big thing because you like the reward. You like making that commission. Let me tell you, I'm not a Sagittarius, but I never took a job that I couldn't make a bonus or a commission. Because if I was going to sit around and wait for somebody to give me a 10-cent raise, well, it just wasn't for me. If I go out and sell a car and make $1,000 commission on it, that was my raise. If I worked for a company, do I get bonus? Oh yeah, that was my raise. When you make bonus or you make commission, you make your raise. You get what you're worth. If you ain't worth the shit at selling, well, you ain't gonna get shit. Excuse my language. That wasn't French, by the way, in case you don't know French. That's not French. But that was the good thing. I worked in a convenience store because I liked making that extra. Every 3 months, every quarter, I'd get a bonus. It was always over again. Always. Worked in Houston for a trucking company. I made commission, and it was always good. Selling cars up till my first stroke in 2011. Actually, I worked that January, had to go in for surgery, and then I had the stroke. But That 1 month showed me to be on a track of doing over 150 grand that year. But it all came to a crash. Had a stroke, I was in a wreck, 8 surgeries, fought for my life. But that 1 month that I worked, the worst month of the year, January, coming out of the slowest part of the year, December, I did $12,000. Not bad. That's commission, perks, everything. Of course, by the time taxes got through with it, I didn't get that much, but it was a good check. And the bosses would get mad because these guys, they wanted you to sell 15 vehicles. That was your quota. But I would do 9, 10, 12. You know. But I'd make more commission on what I sold than the guys that would sell the 15 cars. Them was the numbers. They wanted 15 cars from everybody out. I seen them make deals where the dealership only made 350 on the top side, but they got to move that other vehicle. The more vehicles they move, the more inventory they could have. I was in it for me. I'd work a customer until I made a deal. I made it worth something to them, and the other thing is, the longer I worked with them, the more I could read them. I'd figure I'd find the way to convince them this was the car they needed. Hell, I got a guy to drive all the way from Houston. He didn't know it. He got hooked. We had a Porsche. I'll never forget. We had a 2007 Porsche that we took in on trade there at the dealership. Been there for a while, according to them. I know when I got there, it was there, and I'd already been there almost a year. And they said that if you sell that car this month, there'll be an extra 500 commission on it for you, above what you would normally get. We got to get it out of here. So I started calling around. I found out the internet's pretty good for something. So I looked up Porsche owners, people that own Porsches. There you go. And I wound up with a list. Wasn't a whole bunch, but I wound up with a list of them. So I started calling, leaving messages that we had. If they knew anyone that needed another vehicle, we had one on sale. And then this guy calls from Houston. They'd run it on ad, and he found it. He calls me. Well, he called the front desk, and they threw it to me, and I grabbed it. I did my homework on it. I learned that it had 4 wheels, 2 doors, a hood, and a trunk. Had air, had headlights. It runs good. Anyway, I told the guy, you got to come and drive it. You got to come see it. This car is it's a dream mobile. I made it out to look like it was plated in gold. And it had gold tires. And it was the only one in the world. I made $1,000 commission on that car plus the 500 incentive. And I brought the man from Houston, Texas to buy it. And he was pleased with it. He wanted it for his son. You know how many dealerships are out in that area that could have had the same damn car? Good thing about a used car, you're only going to have one. But there you go. Well, live and learn. I've gone over my hour, but that's okay. My abilities to read people helped me in sales because I could find the niche, find the need. I had a person one time to come onto the dealership. I got to have, and this got to be, and this. I said, but you got kids, don't you? You got what, 3 kids, 4 kids? Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, Why would you want something so small? They were looking at a very tiny car, used car. I said, I could put you in a 6-passenger sedan, brand new, Kia, with a hell of a warranty, and you know, less money, and you have enough room for all your family. But they wanted this Mustang. Where are you going to put 4 kids, 2 adults, and 2 of them are teenagers? Well, I showed them the Forte, then I showed them the Optima, and then something hit me. This guy likes classy. He's not rich, but he likes classy things. I said, you like big cars, don't you? I do. My wife don't. She wants that Mustang. Yeah. Ma'am, I got the vehicle for you. It's a brand new, it's a year old, hasn't been sold, hasn't been on the road, but we need to get it off the showroom floor. And I can get you a hell of a deal on it. And it looks just like a Jaguar. What? Yeah. It was the last 6-passenger large sedan. I forget the name of it, but it was a Kia. It was like their Cadillac, but it looked like a dang Royal Royce. I mean, not Royal Royce, a Jaguar. You walk up to it from the front, it looked like a Jaguar. From the back, it looked like a Mercedes. It looked like they just pasted them together. Had leather interior. I mean, it was had backup camera. I mean, it had everything. 2009, and the price was great. I took her over there, and she looked at it. This is nice. It does look like a Jag. And she's looking at a Jaguar. Look at that. She's telling her, look. Can you imagine us driving home? I said, yeah, I could. Your neighbor's going to be thinking, where the hell did they get the money to get a Jaguar? I think that thing was selling. It had a sticker price, I think, of almost 24,000 or something like that. But it was already going to be over a year old, even though it's brand new. I think it had like 12 miles on it, if that, just where we're taking it for short test drives. And I think I wound up putting him in that thing for just like $9,000 with all the discounts there. They wanted it out. And I still made a decent commission. I think I made about $400 commission on it with the perk from the manufacturer and from what I made off the vehicle. But I was able to see the inside for her. She's looking at class. She's looking at sporty. She's not thinking about the family she has at home. They would have regretted the Mustang later because it just wasn't going to be big enough. But that vehicle was big enough. And they come to get I think the 6-week checkup or whatever that is, 6-month checkup and oil change and all. And they come in there and they brought me lunch. Somebody was paging me to the front, and I went up there and she said, we brought you some lunch. I said, where's your car? She said, right out there. Had all her kids in there, and they're going to the movies. They just picked it up from getting it serviced. She said, she starts laughing. She said, everybody thought we bought a Jaguar. I didn't tell them different. We live out in the country, so when we drive by, all they just see us going by. Oh, got a Jaguar? That's beautiful. Black. Had gray leather interior. I mean, it was nice. More than they would have got for that Mustang. That Mustang wouldn't have come at the price. But anyway, back to your fortune. You like something that you're going to make something out of it. You're not going to wait for your own raise. You're going to do it. And your biggest ticket is your work ethics. You're the kind of person, and most And actually, most of the Sagittarius are very good on their work ethics. You're the kind of person, if you're not at work at least 15 minutes early, you feel like I'm late already. You like to get there, see what's going on, get the facts, and be ready to hit it. That's who you are, and that's good. It gets you promoted. It gets you up there where you need to be. You know, it's always better to have your own business, or at least control on what you make, because the JOB stands for just over broke. JOB, job, just over broke. So always try to find something where you're going to make a little bonus, a little commission. Of course, now what they want to do is give you $18 an hour and stick you in a corner and don't say a word. You're getting $18 an hour. Pour that sand in the bag. You'll be all right. And that's where you're going to be. How long you'll be making that $18 an hour? Will you get a bonus of any kind? Is there advancement? Think about it. Sagittarius, happy birthday. You're born today. May the Lord keep you safe, and may all your dreams come true. And may all your family be with you on this day. Join me when I say happy birthday. Give them a big salute and a big applause. Happy birthday to you today, every day. All of you. It's good having you. I hope that I shared something of interest to you, and come back, be part of the audience. Don't be afraid to join in and say what's on your mind. Again, today was a little tough getting started because I heard about two friends that moved on, got my daughter in the hospital. My prayers go out to all of you that are not feeling well today, that are sick, or have someone in your family that's sick. And if you lost someone today, God bless you and watch over you. My sympathies go out to anyone and everyone. Remember, their voice has just begun. Until next time, may the Lord keep you, and may all your dreams be great. Till next time.
When we say no store does more, we mean our HEB pharmacy partners who take care of Texans every day.
Sorry about that. Have a good one. Next time, happy birthday. Take care. Join me tomorrow. Bye. If you're here live, I want to say here on YouTube, you can always come in, ask questions, type in things that you want to know, but also you can join in and be part of the show and discuss things that you may have seen or experienced. Had to turn that down a little bit. But either way, till next time. Bye now.